soybeans, and soybeans once again. What's up, 23% Nation? This is your man, Coach D. Today, I'm back with Legume of the Day, the one and only soybean. So maybe you know all there is to know about soybeans. Maybe you think they're good for you. Maybe you think they're bad for you. Well, whatever the case may be, please listen and watch on. Why? Because we're about to dive just a little deeper into the wonderful world of the soybean. All right, first up, a little bit of background information. The soybean is a type of legume that is originally native to East Asia, but it is now grown and cultivated all around the globe. Apart from the edible bean itself, the soybean plant is used to produce a number of different products. So, we have soy milk, tofu, tempeh, soy sauce, and miso. Now, take a look at the picture. As you can see, I am illustrating some of these other products. We have tofu, we have edamame, we have the soybean itself, soy sauce, and the one and only soy milk. So there we have it, guys. A little bit of background information about the one and only soybean. All right, now it's time for a few fun facts. Soybeans are used to make a variety of processed foods. Now, 23% Nation, I need you to pay close attention. Notice that I said processed foods. So let's talk about them. Vegan meat substitutes, dairy-free yogurts and dairy-free cheese, soy lecithin, and soy protein isolate. Now, take a look at the picture. As you can see, the soybean is used in a variety of ways in a multitude of products. So not only do we see that the soybean is used in the products that are listed, but when we take a look at the picture, we see some products that aren't listed, such as Snickers bars, Milky Way, Three Musketeers, Nutri-Grain bars, even creamy, what is that, cake batter, or maybe it's icing, cake icing. Nice. So as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, the soybean once again is ubiquitous, meaning present everywhere at the same time. Now, is this a good thing or is it a bad thing? Well, we'll determine that later. But for now, these are the fun facts. All right, now it's time for the not so fun facts. In some people, soy products may suppress thyroid function, cause flatulence and diarrhea, lead to allergic reactions, and may worsen symptoms of IBS. Now, just for your information, IBS simply stands for irritable bowel syndrome. Also, keeping your intake in moderation and selecting non-GMO, minimally processed and fermented varieties whenever possible can help minimize any adverse effects on health and maximize the potential benefits. Now, let's take a look at the picture. Now, this picture simply asks one question, and it says, is soy bad for men? But really, we need to extrapolate that question to, is soy bad for people in general, both men and women and children, of course? Well, here's Coach D's take on soybeans. The bean itself is not bad. As a matter of fact, it has quite a few nutrients and health benefits, which we're going to talk about in a little while. However, once the soybean is taken from the ground and it's processed, then it can be not so good for the human body. So if you really want to know if a soybean is good for you, well, the less processing, the better. Meaning, if you eat the soybean itself in its true natural state, then you're going to reap all the benefits. However, if you're consuming the soybean in its most processed state, well, now that's when you're going to experience the adverse effects. So ultimately, it depends on how processed the bean really is. If there's very little to no processing, then yeah, go ahead, eat it. It's great for you. However, if you find that the soybean has been processed to the max, then chances are no, it is not going to be good for you. So there we have it, guys, the not so fun facts about the one and only soybean. All right, let's dive into the 520 rule. Ladies and gentlemen, the 520 rule is all about food labels. That's right, guys, food labels. Basically, it helps us to understand how to read and understand food labels. Ultimately, it's a guide. It's a guide that lets us know whether or not a food or beverage item is a good source or not a good source of any particular nutrient. Now, when we talk about the 520 rule, really what we're talking about is percent daily value, abbreviated percent DV. Now, let's take a look at our sample food label. As you can see, it is divided into three main parts. We have the purple portion, the yellow portion, and the light blue portion. So let's first discuss the purple portion. Percent daily value, as you can clearly see, is represented as a percentage. Now, basically, it's a spectrum, it's a range, it's a scale that goes from as low as 0% to upwards of 100%. Now, there are some cases where some foods may provide some nutrients in excess of 100%. However, that is rare. Now, when we talk about the yellow portion, the yellow nutrients, meaning saturated fat, trans fat, cholesterol, and sodium, well, unfortunately, guys, these nutrients do a really good job at promoting disease within the body temple. So when it comes to percent DV, you want to make sure that these percentages are as close to 0% as possible. Now, just as a little quick anecdote, the types of foods that are going to have high percentages of these nutrients, saturated fat, trans fat, cholesterol, and sodium, well, those are going to be your animal products and your processed foods. Now, when we talk about the blue portion, the blue nutrients such as dietary fiber, vitamin A, vitamin C, calcium, and iron, which basically represent all vitamins and minerals, these nutrients are just the opposite of the yellow nutrients. Rather than promote disease, sickness, and illness, they promote health, they promote wellness within the body temple. So when it comes to their percent DV, you want to make sure that they are as close to 100% as possible. Now, the question is, what types of foods are going to have these percentages at a very high rate, or shall I say high percentage? Well, it's going to be your plant foods. Now, let's be a little more specific when we talk about the 520 rule. Ladies and gentlemen, if a food or beverage item offers anywhere from 0% to 9% DV of any particular nutrient, then that food or beverage item is considered not a good source of that particular nutrient. Now, if the food or beverage item offers anywhere from 10% to 19% DV, then that food or beverage item is considered a good source of that particular nutrient. Lastly, if the food or beverage item that we're consuming offers 20% DV or greater, then that food or beverage item is considered an excellent source of that particular nutrient. So there we have it, guys, the ins and outs about the 520 rule. All right, now it's time to dive into the nutrition facts for the soybean. Now, ladies and gentlemen, for today's lecture, we're going to say that a single serving of soybeans is 1 cup of raw soybeans, not cooked, but raw. So in this single serving, we're going to get 830 calories. Now, keep something in mind, because I do love to cook my beans, and I'll tell you this, that usually 1 cup of cooked legumes is probably going to expand to anywhere to 2, 3, maybe even 4 cups, right? So remember, this is a cup of raw soybeans, not cooked. So total fat is equal to 37 grams, which is basically 56% DV. So what does this mean? Well, it means that it is an excellent source of fat. But here's what you got to understand, is that even though it's an excellent source of fat, most of these fats are unsaturated fats, meaning the healthy fats. So please don't be afraid to consume soybeans in their unprocessed form. Next up, cholesterol, no cholesterol. Why? Because plant foods do not contain cholesterol, only animal products. Next up is potassium, coming in at 95% DV, excellent source. Then we have total carbs coming in at 56 grams. Now, let's talk about dietary fiber. 17 grams is equal to a whopping 68% DV. Amazing. Excellent source. Then we have protein coming in at 68 grams. Nice. And that's equivalent to 136% DV. Now, earlier I mentioned that usually the percent DV scale ends at 100% and that there are rare cases where it may exceed 100%. Well, here's one of those rare cases. But remember, you're not going to consume a whole cup of raw soybeans, right? So keep that in mind. But I do want to mention that it is important that we know that soybeans are an excellent source of fiber as well as an excellent source of protein. Now, vitamin C comes in at 18% DV, good source. Calcium comes in at 51% DV, excellent source. Iron comes in at a whopping 162% DV, excellent source. Vitamin B6 comes in at 35% DV, excellent source. And magnesium comes in at a great 130% DV, excellent source. So there we have it, guys, your nutrition facts about the one and only soybean. All right, now it's time to dive into the health benefits. But before we do, I would like to talk with you about the principle of cause and effect, which basically states that every cause has its effect and every effect has its cause. There really is no such thing as chance and or luck. In other words, everything happens for a reason. That being said, I want to simply let you know this, that if you have a disease, well, believe it or not, you caused it, right? The effect is the disease, but what's important is that we focus on what causes disease. Now, it's the same thing for health. If you're healthy, well, chances are you did something to cause health to be the effect. So what I would like to do right now is go through the health benefits of the soybean, but more importantly, I want to let you know which phytonutrients are responsible for this. So, benefit number one, the soybean may reduce cancer risk. Great, but remember, in its most natural state. Now, which phytonutrient causes this? Well, say hello to isoflavones and another phytonutrient entitled lunasin. Benefit number two, soybeans alleviate menopause symptoms. Great. So now the question is, which phytonutrients are responsible? Well, isoflavones once again. Benefit number three, may reduce the risk of osteoporosis in women. How nice. Which phytonutrient is responsible? Well, isoflavones once again. So as you can see, isoflavones are very, very important. Benefit number four, they may help manage cholesterol levels and promote better heart health. Great. Which phytonutrients cause this? Well, the plant sterols. Benefit number five, the soybean may promote regular menstrual cycles and enhance fertility. Now that's great, especially for couples that are trying to conceive children. So the question is, which phytonutrient is responsible? Well, say hello to phytoestrogens. And health benefit number six, the soybean may lower the risk of developing breast, colorectal, prostate, and lung cancers. Wow, how nice is that? So the question is, which phytonutrients cause this? Well, isoflavones, plant sterols, and prebiotics. So there we have it, guys, the health benefits of the one and only soybean. All right, now it's time to talk about food. Guys, normally our go-to website for everything vegan is forksofandknives.com. But for today's video, I thought I'd switch it up just a little bit and introduce you to yumly.com. That's right, guys, yumly.com. Now, I went to the website, did a little bit of research, and I found two amazing vegan soybean recipes that I want to share with you right now. So the first one is entitled Easy Vegetarian Pad Thai Noodle Recipe. Great, great, great. Take a look at the picture. Looks delicious. The second recipe is Vegan Baked Ziti. How delicious does that look? So, if you are somehow inspired and somehow motivated to make and taste these dishes, then please click on the description box. Why? Because I'm providing you with a direct link to each recipe. That's right, I'm here to hook you up. Now, here's what you need to know, is that when you get to the website, you're going to find a lot of great information, such as cooking time, ingredients, and of course, instructions as to how to make the recipe, right? So do me a favor. Go to the website, make the dish, taste the dish, come back to the video, and share your thoughts. So there we have it, guys. Not one, but two delicious, nutritious recipes from yumly.com. All right, 23% nation, I hear you. A lot of you say, well, Coach D, thanks for the fun facts and the not so fun facts and the nutrition facts and the background information about soybeans. But what I really want to know is, when should I eat more soybeans? Well, guys, if that's your question, then the answer is Nature Day. What? Nature Day? Oh, yes, good old Nature Day. Guys, Nature Day happens to be the first day of the 23% challenge. Now, some of us may not be aware of the challenge, and that's okay. So, in a nutshell, the 23% challenge is a monthly 7-day wellness program that is designed to help improve your health, your wealth, your relationships. Oh, and it also helps to save good old planet Earth. Now, as I just mentioned, yes, it is monthly, meaning every month, meaning January through December, and it's 7 days, but it's the first 7 days of every month, meaning the first all the way through the 7th. Now, that being said, here's what we need to know, is that Nature Day is the first day of the challenge, which simply means that Nature Day is the first day of every month. That's right. So whether it's January 1st, November 1st, or even December 1st, it's always Nature Day. All right, 23% nation, some of you may have this question. So Coach D, what is Nature Day all about? I mean, I know when it is, it's the first day of the month, but what exactly do you do on Nature Day? Well, guys, Nature Day is all about getting closer to nature through food, but specifically plant foods. Now, on Nature Day, you're simply going to eat only plants, right? So I do understand that eating plants only can be a big challenge to some people. That's why it's called the 23% challenge. So if you want to take baby steps, here's what I suggest. Number 1, try to eat only plants and drink only water before 12 p.m. After 12 p.m., you can eat whatever you want to eat. If before 12 p.m. doesn't work for you, then try after 12 p.m. That way you can eat anything you want to eat before 12 p.m. Get it? Got it? Good. Now, some of us may want to push the envelope a little further, right? So you may want to try to become a 3% vegan. So what does that mean? Well, it's any person who only eats plant foods and drinks only water only 1 day out of an entire month. Next up is a 10% vegan. Now that's anyone who only eats plant foods and drinks only water only 3 days out of an entire month. Next up is a 17% vegan. That's anyone, man, woman, or child, who only eats plant foods and drinks only water only 5 days out of an entire month. And lastly is the ultimate 23% vegan. That's right, guys. Technically, that's what Coach D considers himself to be, a 23% vegan. So now the question is, what do I eat for the first 7 days of every month? Well, guys, it's easy. I only eat from the 5 food groups of plant foods, which happen to be fruits, vegetables and herbs, nuts and seeds, legumes, meaning beans and peas, and of course, good old whole grains. And I only drink water. So there we have it, guys, the ins and outs about Nature Day. All right. Now, maybe you want to know even more information, and that's great. I'm happy for you. Because a lot of us may now wonder, well, Coach D, who should participate in Nature Day, right? What type of person should eat more plants? Well, here we go. Maybe you are suffering from the big 4. Now, the question is, what are the big 4? Well, here we go, guys. Heart disease, number 1, obesity, number 2, cancer, number 3, and type 2 diabetes is number 4, right? And so maybe you're looking for a natural, holistic approach to healing your body. Well, it's time to eat more plants. Maybe you have skin issues such as eczema, psoriasis, acne, and pimples. Maybe you have digestive issues such as constipation or IBS. Or maybe you have mental issues such as anger, frustration, mental unclarity. Maybe you're sad all the time, right? And maybe you are also looking for a holistic, natural way to remedy your situation. Well, it's easy. Eat more plants. Maybe you want to lose body fat. Maybe you want to build muscle, right? So try to go on our vegan lean and vegan bulk programs. Maybe you're looking to transition into a more whole food plant-based lifestyle. It's easy. Eat more plants. Or maybe you're just in the mood to eat more plants. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Nature Day is definitely for you. So now we know exactly who Nature Day is for. All right. So now that you've decided to at least attempt Nature Day, guys, I want to offer you 5 tips that I think can help make your Nature Day successful. Tip number 1, go to your local grocery store. Now, when you get there, you're going to go to 3 places. Number 1 is the produce section, number 2 is the freezer aisle, and number 3 is the canned good aisle. Why the produce section? Well, because that's where you're going to find all of your fresh plant foods. Why the freezer aisle? Well, that's where you're going to find all of your frozen plant foods. And why the canned good aisle? Well, that's where you're going to find all of your canned plant foods. Now the question is, what's best, Coach D? Fresh, frozen, or canned? Well, if I got to be honest with you, fresh is always best. Frozen is a close second, and third is all the way down at the bottom. Why? Because when you eat canned food, you're getting a lot of additives, a lot of preservatives, and maybe even some coloring, and maybe even some sweeteners. Now, all those extra chemicals really do the body a lot of harm. So rather than you reaping the benefits of the plant food, unfortunately, you also get the toxins. Tip number 2, go to the prepared dishes section of your local grocery store. So once you're done with the canned good aisle, the freezer aisle, and the produce section, walk on over to the prepared dishes section. Now, here's what you're going to find. You're going to find a counter full of prepared foods or cooked foods. And you're also going to find someone behind the counter who's going to want to help you out. So first things first, ask the person if they offer any vegan, not vegetarian options. Okay? If they say yes and you like what you see, ask for a quick sample. Trust me, it's free. Okay? Now, providing you like it, go ahead and purchase it either by the pound or maybe even 2, maybe even 3 pounds if you really, really, really like it. Tip number 3, go visit your local farmer's market. That's right, guys. This is very important, especially for those of us who have to have all natural, non-GMO plant foods, right? Because here's a good thing about farmers markets is that they only cater to the non-GMO, no pesticides, no chemical market, right? So if you have to have non-GMO produce, then definitely go to your local farmers market. Tip number 4, it's time for us to support the vegan community by eating at a vegan restaurant. Vegan restaurants are amazing. Why? Because they do a really good job at hiring vegan chefs. Now, here's the good news. Vegan chefs not only know how to cook plant foods, but they also know which plant foods to combine to give us the most nutritious, delicious dishes. Tip number 5, get a subscription to a vegan meal prep company. Now, I highly recommend this for people who don't know how to cook plant foods, for people who don't have time to cook plant foods, and people who just don't want to cook plant foods. Guys, this is a very simple process. You get the subscription, they deliver, they cook the food, you eat the food. It's just that simple. So there we have it, guys. 5 amazing tips to help you have a successful Nature Day. All right, it's time for our question of the day, coming from yours truly and the rest of the 23% Nation. We want to know, true or false, tofu is made from soybeans. Now, I believe I covered that earlier in the lecture, so hopefully you got it, but if you didn't, just simply rewind it. And of course, type your answer in the comment box below. Guys, I want to thank you for watching. I definitely want to thank you for listening. As always, let's eat well, feel well, think well, do well, be well. This is your man, Coach D. Now, before I sign out, I got to ask you to please like, subscribe, and share the video, especially if you love soybeans. And don't forget to use our 3-word mantra. It's hashtag eat more plants. As stated earlier, I'm Coach D, signing out. Always remember to take care, God bless, and never ever forget that Coach D loves you.